Carolina Insider is presented by Wells Fargo.
So Carolina improved to 1-0 with that 19-point win over College of Charleston. And after the game, just like we will after every home game this year, Adam Lucas and I broke down the Tar Heel victory with what we're calling the Carolina Insider Rapid Reaction. So again, we're going to do this after every home game this year. You can look for it on Twitter, on Facebook, and all your other Go Heels social media outlets. So let's go back to that as Adam and I talked about Carolina's 19-point win.
Certainly a unique night in the Smith Center with very limited fans, just family of the teams and staffs, the benches spread out, Coach Williams wearing a mask the entire game. I mean, things that we have become a little more accustomed to just because of the situation we're all in, but still different than anything we've experienced before.
Just even in starting lineups, as the Tar Heels were introduced during starting lineups, you give air high fives rather than actual high fives as you walk out onto the Smith Center court. It's just very different. No band, just canned band music. It just felt different in there. Hard to get a lot of momentum going, but I think as we've seen in football, as the players get more used to it, you'll see it become more cohesive and feel more familiar.
All right, let's break this one down a little bit more. We like to call these our rapid reactions. Love that intro, Adam. All right, there were a lot of things that felt important tonight for Carolina, and one thing that has been standing out, I think, during preseason in practice, Adam, is the difference in the depth that this team has compared to last year's team for the Tar Heels, and it was on display tonight. A lot of different guys came in and made an impact.
So many different pieces that Roy Williams has to work with, really all over the court, back court, front court, everywhere. You've got players who can do different skills, do different things, contribute in different ways. Tar Heels able to get a lot of contributions off the bench. Dayron Sharp gets a double-double in his very first game as a Tar Heel. He's just the fourth player ever to do that in his first game. And then Carolina kind of feeling a little guilty. They just throw Walker Kessler in there, and he looked great. So College of Charleston probably sitting over there going, where do we go get one of those 7-foot guys that we just bring in off the bench in the second half?
A lot of different options the Tar Heels have. That's going to continue to evolve as the year goes along, of course, as well. We know how important rebounding is to Coach Williams, to Carolina basketball. It was stunning to see College of Charleston even with Carolina in the rebounding total at halftime. That changed in half number 2.
It was 18-18 at the break, and I'm guessing that was a point of emphasis for Roy Williams with his team in the locker room. They really continued to not do a great job the first couple minutes of the second half as Charleston got onto the offensive backboards and was able to get some points that way, but then Carolina really locked it down after that. Garrison Brooks led the Tar Heels with 11 rebounds, and really everyone did a pretty good job of getting to the glass, and that also generated some offense during a time when Carolina wasn't making some shots.
So the Tar Heels, I think defensively, Adam, this was really an up and down performance from Carolina on the defensive side. There were some moments where Carolina looked really good. There was also a stretch where Charleston was shooting above 70% for a long period of time in this game. But the defensive pressure in the second half in particular felt important in this win.
And I think you come away from this game feeling better about the defensive potential than maybe the actual defensive performance. Carolina did have 10 steals, which is pretty good. But I think you look at the backcourt combination of Caleb Love and R.J. Davis, you pair that with the variety of big men who are defending the rim and hopefully getting even better at preventing opposing guards from driving in, and then the depth that we already talked about. You're always going to have fresh bodies out there. I think this has a chance to be a pretty good defensive Carolina team.
Right, that ability to protect the rim is something that some of the best Carolina teams have been able to do. And with Kessler and Sharp and Brooks and Baycott, you have some big bodies down there. And as you saw in that highlight package, had some opportunity to erase some shots around the rim area.
9 blocks for the Tar Heels.
Thanks again for being here today. We'll be back next weekend, and boy, do we have a busy show again next weekend. There's going to be 3 basketball games to talk about as the Tar Heels are playing in the Maui Invitational, which is actually taking place in Asheville. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the Heels have their final home football game of the season hosting Western Carolina. So we'll have highlights and a reaction to all of those things next week on the Carolina Insider.
Carolina Insider is presented by Wells Fargo, official sponsor of Carolina Athletics. And brought to you by Coca-Cola. When you're stocking up for game day, be sure to grab a Coke with a friend. Together, tastes better. Carolina Insider is produced by Go Heels Productions for Tar Heel Sports Properties, a property of Learfield IMG College.